Why don't you close all the cigarette companies if you think smoking is that bad? I don't smoke personally, but I mean, I think Indian Penal Code allows people to smoke, and people do. So why can't you show that on the screen? They will cut a rape scene or love making. A rape scene can get passed, but a love making scene is a crime. You know, if the woman is willing, that is vulgar. As long as she is unwilling and sex is being imposed on her, then it's all right. Then you can pass that. So, rape scenes don't get into trouble, but love making scenes do.
Why people are against censor in India is because the members of censor boards are not qualified enough to judge a film, whether it should be given A, PG, 3X, 2X or the general public.
जो फिल्म को रोकना चाहिए वो पास हो जाती है और जिस फिल्म को पास करना चाहिए उसको सालों लगा देती है, परेशानियों में धक्के खिलाती है। जो परेशानियां मैंने उठाई, जो तकलीफ, मैं शायर था अच्छा खासा, इस फिल्म को लेके जो परेशानियां मुझे हुई वो मैं जानता हूं या अल्लाह जानता है।
Besides cuts that seem nonsensical, a few filmmakers also point out at a different kind of non-objectivity displayed by the censor board.
When Raj Kapoor shows sex, it is artistic. When B.K. Adarsh makes a film on sex, it is educational. When B.R. Ishara does something, it is vulgar.
That's what I'm saying. How is it not possible to be influenced? See, when somebody is extremely well known and also enjoys a tremendous amount of public respect, there's a lot he can get away with also. This we all know.
You can say that if Raj Kapoor showed a girl in a wet sari, it was art, and if say Mangalal shows that, then it is not art. But yes, there is some truth in it, and it is not only censor board, it is everywhere, you know. I mean, if you see a painting by Picasso, and the same painting would have been made by some unknown painter, it would have made a difference. Well, maybe it is, sometimes it's not fair, but it is inevitable.
Critics of the censor board, and there are many, point fingers at not only the competence of the censor board, but also something much more sinister. The very bona fides of the board, its objectivity, its tendency to be a handmaiden of the party in power.
No, it's not true, because as I perceive that of course, I mean, when we select the people, there is some kind of a favoritism shown or allegiance to a particular ideology that prevail, but it is a general practice.
जिसकी सरकार आती है उसके लोग आ जाते हैं बदल के.
Censor board has been corrupt all the time. The members of the censor board are picked up by the politicians mostly.
But I don't agree with that. But unfortunately, it has come there.
Yes, that has been the practice here, that every time the government changes, they bring people who they feel comfortable with.
When the political party changes, I think every department, heart of a department is changed. All bureaucrats are transferred because they want to disagree with the previous ones.
And the political agenda is for any ruling party or combination of parties.
So ultimately, as far as the power infrastructure is concerned, all the parties unanimously and unitedly want to save it.
I know for a fact that it has been happening, and that is why I say that state-regulated censorship is completely bogus.
Criticism, of course, can cut both ways. It is worth asking the filmmakers who criticize the censor board about whether they themselves are above probity. How responsible really are our filmmakers? How would they behave in the absence of censorship?
जो डिजर्व करते, जो काबिल लोग हैं इस चीज़ के लिए, अगर चाहें तो हो सकता है, लेकिन अगर सेंसर बोर्ड को निकाल देंगे, सवाल एक ये होता है कि बगैर अभी सेंसर बोर्ड है तो बंदिशें हैं, अगर आज़ादी मिल जाएगी तो शायद लोग और ज़्यादा फ़ायदा उठाएं, ये भी हो सकता है.
It is definitely important. Otherwise, what will happen? You will open the doors of shops and they will tempt people to steal anything, to make anything.
अगर हम इस तरह की छूट दें, हटा दें, तो वो सारी चीजें सामने आ जाएंगी जिसको हमारी सोसाइटी को अच्छा नहीं लगेगा.
For a while, it can create a kind of a havoc in the society because many people will take advantage of it, and there'll be a rain of blue films and porno films in the theaters. But I think it will be very short-lived, and ultimately better sense will prevail, and we will behave like adults ultimately.
You know, you are talking about maybe right on the top a few films, but we see lots of films, and some of them, yes, they are very disturbing, and we seriously feel that nobody should see it. Let's talk about Bandit Queen, for instance. The censorship, I mean, you know, the film was passed and everything, and yet when one went to the auditorium, you found that people were clapping at a very poignant moment when this girl, after being gang raped, is, you know, pulled by the hair by the Chaudhary and displayed in front of her own community. People clap. So what I'm trying to say that the way the films are made here, it is not focused with, you know, just one theme. There is a little bit for everybody. So they have these item number in middle of a film, and because of that item number, it suddenly becomes an adult film. But the producer wants an U certificate because it affects his business. So we say that, you know, if you remove this particular song, then it's a U film.
Filmmaking is business. And things which are vulgar and packaged, you know, as films to be sold, may excite or may elicit some kind of curiosity, but at the end of the day, it doesn't sustain, and the society has its own way of purging all these sort of like non-wanted, immoral, unsocial and illicit kind of projections by its own self, and that is the best, you know, censorship we can have.
Clearly, the debate on censorship is not one that offers easy answers. There are strong and logical arguments in support of both sides' convictions. What is the meeting ground? What is the way forward?
Democracy doesn't mean that you shouldn't have police stations. Democracy doesn't mean that you shouldn't have security guards. You shouldn't have an investigating officer. You shouldn't have a CBI. You shouldn't have income tax officers. You should have all those agencies, and Censor Board is one of those agencies which definitely control. That you see to it that the filmmaker or a person who is trying to say something is not offensive to the people's sensibility. And they should really engage very professional people, professionals from industry, from drama, from theatre, from literature. Give them the job. It is a professional job to censor movies.
What I feel personally, the censor board, the selection of the censor, members of the censor board should be above the board. I mean, it should not be a politicized kind of a selection. It should be the people from that field, experts, and who can devote their best abilities to see the film and find out the reasons for any restrictions required.
सच पूछो, जो मेरा अपना पर्सनल, जो मेरा ख्याल है, जो मुझे लगता है, सेंसर बोर्ड का होना तो जरूरी है, लेकिन बस इतना चाहता हूँ सेंसर बोर्ड अपनी जिम्मेदारियां बखूबी निभाए तो ही है.
Yes, I think we, instead of giving cuts, we can say show it as is, but give it a different rating. So with consumer advice that this film contains explicit, this, that and the other language, scenes, whatever, so the audience knows what they're watching, and that will be fine.
Some contents will be for adults, some contents will be for universal viewership, and some contents will be for under parental guidance. It can be seen. So censorship, to an extent where you can categorize the content, is okay.
Why unnecessarily have a censor board? Let Yash Chopra show what he wants to show, let Mahesh Bhatt show what he wants to show, let XYGs show what they want to show, and let the society decide whether they want to see it or not.
So let people decide what they want to watch, so there is no requirement of censorship at all.
When we feel that our viewers are quite responsible, our makers are more responsible than viewers, then censorship rules.
All we need is two things. Film industry itself should create a kind of code for themselves. And also I personally believe that when it comes to audiences, cinema audiences, they can also create the right kind of atmosphere for a film. But that is also not always possible. Because if that was actually the case, then we should be making great artistic films in this country.
Whether these recommendations are implemented or not, whether they make a difference or not, for some it is already too late.
मैं तो कभी ऐसा कोई सब्जेक्ट नहीं उठाऊंगा. बहुत परेशानियां मुझे मिली. अब तो वही करूंगा जो दुनिया देखना चाहती है, मैं वही करूंगा. मैं अच्छाई दिखाने नहीं जाऊंगा, मैं कुछ अच्छा करने नहीं जाऊंगा. जितना हो सकता दायरे के अंदर रह के जहां मैं भी जिंदा रहूं, सलामत रहूं. कितना झूठ और कितना सच दिखाना कि सच को हर दौर में सूली मिली है, मुझे भी मिल गई एक बार सूली, अब बार बार मैं सूली में तो नहीं चढ़ना चाहूँगा. गांधी का देश है, जहाँ गोडसे ने गांधी गोली मार दी. गांधी का देश गांधी का नहीं हुआ तो मेरा क्या होगा? मैं सिस्टम बदलने जाऊँगा, मैं कोई अच्छा करने जाऊँगा. मेरे ऐसा एक एक आदमी जब जब ऐसा सोचने के लिए खड़ा होगा, शायद नाकाम होगा.
So is censorship justified in a land that guarantees freedom of expression? You decide. After all, it is in your name that censorship is carried out. However, you can rest assured that censorship or no censorship, the Indian film industry will keep churning out its seemingly endless assembly line of 18-reel celluloid fantasies, forever abiding by entertainment's foremost maxim: come what may, the show must go on.